Welcome to AI for Visual Effects. I'm Doug Hogan. In this video, I want to show you a really useful workflow for generating clean plates and removing objects using ComfyUI. This setup uses inpainting powered by Wan 2.1 together with SAM automatic masking to rebuild missing background areas in just a few minutes. In visual effects work, we often have to remove things from a shot in compositing. Things like tracking markers, unwanted props, reference actors for CG characters, or even sometimes just distracting background elements. Traditionally, that means rotoscoping, paintwork, projections, and a fair amount of manual patching. With Comfy, we can generate a clean plate automatically and use that as the starting point for a final composite. And once the workflow is set up, it's really easy to run on other shots as well. So let's quickly walk through how this workflow works. A segmentation model creates the mask, then an in-painting diffusion model reconstructs the missing pixels. And finally, that result is merged back into the original frame. Everything is modular, so you can swap models, masks, or settings depending on the shot. The first step is figuring out what we want to remove. Here I'm using two different options. The first is Florence 2 from Microsoft, which lets you describe the object you want to segment. The second is SAM2 from Facebook, which helps us generate masks from the image using a points editor. So for this workflow, you just load your plate, pick the segmentation option you want to use, and then choose the region you want to remove. Both models have their strengths depending on the shot, so play around and experiment. Either direction you choose, you'll get a mask that isolates the desired object. And compared to manual garbage matting or frame by frame rotoscoping, this can save a huge amount of time. But if you already have a mask from compositing software like Nuke or After Effects or another pipeline tool entirely, you can bring that in as well. Just use a load video node and import your MP4 video containing your black and white mask. So integrating this into an existing visual effects workflow is pretty straightforward, as you can see. MP4 tends to work best for these masks since Comfy currently prefers this video format over image sequences. Image sequences can be used, but that usually requires additional custom nodes outside of the normal Comfy ecosystem that aren't covered in this video. But this is an area of rapid development, so keep an eye out. Once the mask is ready, the next step is generating a reference frame. This helps guide the in-painting model when it reconstructs the missing area. There are lots of ways to do this. You could even paint something quickly in Photoshop. But in this workflow, I'm using the Qwen Image edit model. Other open source models like Flux can also work well, and there are closed source options like Nano Banana that produce really nice results too. So this is a great place to experiment. Once the reference image is created, the in-painting model analyzes the surrounding pixels and generates a clean background that fits the shot. Since the model is being guided by the original plate and the reference image, perspective and lighting usually stay really consistent. For many shots, this already produces a usable clean plate. But if the result isn't perfect though, you can simply run the workflow again and pick the best version. Oh, and quick tip. Try not to let the mask perfectly match the silhouette of the object you're removing. That shape can sometimes actually influence the model. If that happens, just increase the expand value on the grow mask with blur node to give the model a bit more context and rerun the workflow. Typically, a larger mask actually gives you a better result. All right, now let's run the workflow. After a few minutes, here's our result. The object is removed and the background has been reconstructed. This clean plate can now be used for additional visual effects work. Pretty cool, right? If the result needs refinement, you can tweak the mask using nodes like mask growth, blur, or expansion. Like I mentioned earlier, making the mask slightly larger often gives the model more context and produces a better reconstruction. But feel free to run multiple generations and simply choose the version you like best. Experiment a little. As you can see, using ComfyUI for a clean plate generation can dramatically speed up paint and prep work in a visual effects pipeline. And that means more time for the really fun creative work that we all love doing.